Hey guys, here's Louis, and this is part two of the trunk floor repair for the 1967 GTO. So, I'm going to share with you guys the tools that I am using for the removal of the rusty floor on the GOAT on the 1967 GTO. So, I have here an air hammer, okay, with a flat chisel on the end. I like to use this to, like, let's say if that's a spot weld right here, right? They usually round. You could go under the metal. There's two panels plugged weld. You could go under the metal and zap it out. It works great. I love it, and that's what I use it for. They also have another tip here you could put in that helps you cut metal. All right. I use a pick, a pointy pick, to scratch the metal, make a line. Maybe I need to cut it there. And of course, measuring tape, very important. And this scraper is not your normal scraper. This is a pretty beefy scraper. I have it for years. It happens to be a Craftsman. And this, I like to put it underneath the panel and hammer it with this rubber hammer here. So also the spot welds will just separate, and there you will remove the panel. Makes your life a little easier. So it's like a panel separator, which they do sell the correct tool. I ain't the correct tool as a panel separator, but it has served me for some years now. Rubber hammer. I'm gonna show you guys something. This rubber hammer was a regular normal rubber hammer. I bought it really cheap. And with this heat gun, this torch gun over here, I basically just go around like this while she's on. Okay, go all over the hammer, and I get a bucket and I quench it in cold water. And what that does is it makes the rubber hammer get more tough. It's not that soft no more. And I happen to use this to knock out dents on cars. Also to hit this scraper as I am separating the panels. It works excellent. Tape. Tape is a great measuring tool. Believe me, it's your friend. Then I also use this grinder here. It's an air grinder. This is a 3-inch wheel, okay, cut-off wheel. And also if there's a spot weld or plug weld, okay, I like to turn it on and just go back and forth. Take your time, go back and forth. And this will cut through a spot weld or a plug weld. And there you're able to free the metal you want to get out. Also, of course, it's designed to cut. When I'm also welding on the panels and I have to grind some of the welds off, I use this back and forth. It works excellent. Thick leather gloves, always try to protect your hands. This face shield is a 3M face shield. Okay, they're very cheap on eBay and they will protect your eyes. Okay, if you enjoy having good eyes, I suggest you protect your eyes, and not just your eyes, your face, because these tools are dangerous. I mean, anything could go on. Anything could get loose or break or shatter, and there goes your face and your eyes. So it's very important. I suggest if you guys are going to get into this hobby, you have one of these. This is a Harbor's Freight body saw, okay? I love this machine right here. All right, they make the air one that you could use with an air tank compressor, or that you have the electrical one. I happen to have both, and believe it or not, I usually go to the electric one. Now, this is the trick for making this body saw work so good. And being a Harbor Freight tool, it doesn't cost so much. You won't be breaking the bank. And I am telling you, take my word for it, it's good. These are the blades that I use for it. If you use the cheap ones, you ain't gonna be a happy camper. But if you use these are a little bit more expensive and also sold at Harbor Freight. Is great. I love it. This happens to be another Harbor Freight grinder here. Okay, very cheap. I think I even got this on sale for like $14 or $10. The reason I like these cheap ones are because they are smaller than your normal ones. I happen to have about 5 or 6 grinders. This one and also the regular standard ones, but I'm really not a tall guy. I'm only 5'5" in height. My hands ain't huge. And I just like the grip because she has a smaller body. I could grip this one much, much better. Okay? Makes my life easier to grip it and have control. Have some control of this grinder. And please, I cannot focus. I cannot stress on this topic. Please, when you're using a grinder, use it with the shroud. Use it with the shroud. In my very beginning and getting into this hobby some years ago, I happened to be cutting a panel and it hit some kind of, I don't know if it was a bolt or something, but it hit the wheel, and this thing shattered. And thanks God I had the shroud because the pieces didn't come at me. All right, so it's very important to have that shroud. I never take it off. And the sawzall. The sawzall is your buddy when you're cutting rusty metal. Okay, I happen to have a Diablo blade. Yes, they are kind of pricey, but they cut through butter. They cut like a hot knife through butter, I should say. It makes your life much easier. Sometimes, guys, you are going to have to spend that money and get yourself the tools you need. That's the bottom line. So these are the tools I use usually for body work, like I said, to remove panels, separate panels, cut rusty metal off the cars. Now, I've been moving forward on the car. I was sick a couple of weeks ago when I made the video of saving those other 2 fibers, one a convertible and the other one being a coupe. I was really sick. I had a cold and I wasn't feeling good, so I was not in the garage for like a week and a couple of days. But thanks God Almighty, I am back in the garage and keeping my hands dirty. That's the only way these projects could move forward. So it's really important, like I always say, measure, look at your projects, look where you're going to cut. What if I cut here? If I cut over here, what's under here? And stuff like that. You have to think to yourself, even before you cut, way before you cut. You have to think, you have to plan. If you don't plan ahead, you could run into trouble and give yourself headaches and more work. So I started cutting the real nasty rusty metal. This happens to be in really good shape here. Okay, if I have to go more up, I will. If I don't, I'll start from here. But over here goes the gas tank brace. Okay, your gas tank brace. This brace will be getting cut off over here. I will have to go and separate the spot wells, and this will come out. Same thing I did over here, I have to do over here. Okay, the whole trunk floor, and it gets plug weld on this GTO by the trunk drop off. Okay, so I still have to go through these plug wells up here, and this is what I'm talking about, using that air hammer with the chisel. You sneak under, you go under this panel, And as you zap it, she'll separate. You could also use the cutoff wheel like I showed you, the air grinder with a small 3-inch cutoff wheel, and go on the spot welds and go back and forth, and she'll separate. Okay? Now, here's the back of the car. Here's where the tail panel is. Here's where the end of the floor of the trunk floor goes on the GTO. As you guys can see, I made a line. Okay, I used my grinder. I cut through it. And you see those spot welds right there? I came underneath with my air hammer and zapped it. And believe me, when I hit it here, they separated. Okay? Anything that's left behind, I'll get that 3-inch grinder, go back and forth and smooth it out. If I don't smooth it out like that, I will use a belt sander. I'll share that with you guys another day, another tool that I have, because I haven't taken it out yet. But as you can see, so you're going to be zapping the metal, and that's how the metal ends up rolling. Starts rolling forward as you zap it up with that air hammer. So things are going really nice. You see how they spray some galvanized back in the day. That's why back here it looks so nice. This is a brace for the floor to lay on and have some support. And it gets plug weld here. So all these plug welds, I have to do it once I put the floor, the new floor, back in. Now, when you're doing your project, think, like I always say, plan ahead. And I like to focus on the little things that are period correct. I just think it's cool, and I think that it makes the car just look more original. So right here, I wrote down sender wire for gas gauge, which is this one, this brown one right here. This one gets hooked up to your sending unit for your fuel. And behind this metal here, there's a bracket. So I'm going to cut this. And I know when I have to weld that bracket back, exactly where it's supposed to go. I love to keep the original things of the car, like brackets and stuff like that, that belongs there. I like for them to be back where they belong. I just think it's cool. All right. And it's the way you do the proper job. Okay. Now, remember something. When I take away all this metal, when I start cutting away the rest of the metal that's left, which is not really much now, okay, that's going to be my chance to clean the frame, our wire wheel, the frame, okay, and I will paint the frame. I'll give it the protection of paint, okay. My favorite paint, believe it or not, my go-to paint is Rust-Oleum Satin Black. I shared with you guys on a previous video. It happens to be that it's kind of hard to get Rust-Oleum Satin Black now in a gallon. So I mixed two paints to make it satin black, and they both happen to be oil-based paint. If you guys need me to share that again with you guys, just put it down on the comments and I will. All right, so I will clean everything, make sure everything is painted and protected from the weather. And hopefully these things like this will not happen again to this car. All right, just makes the car look so much better when you're looking from underneath the car, and it protects your car. Now, for you guys that do not understand this kind of work or never even thought about it, there is a lot of how can I say this in a nice way, not so honest body shops out there, and they don't have no conscience to take your money. All right, and sometimes even rob the person bankrupt on their project that they cannot afford it no more, and they happen to keep the car, or they pull the car away from the body shop because it costs a lot of money. That's why it's important to try your best and learning about all this kind of work, because it's not cheap. Now, there are people out there that are honest. okay, and will give you a sensible price. Now, with that being said, remember something that somebody is seeing that have experience, like a person like myself. I have a better understanding of what I'm seeing, what I'm gonna run into, okay, and about how much hours. I could just guess that. You cannot really give a hard, concrete answer to the customer and tell them, well, this is going to take me 10 hours. This is going to take me 20, 50 hours, whatever. Because the more you cut usually on old cars away, the more issues you run into. Okay? So the owner of the car, of course, you open the hood, you open the trunk, and you saw this floor rotting away. Okay, no problem. Now I'm cutting this off. I'm starting to cut the bad metal off, and look what I see. The inner wheelhouse all rotten over here. While out the inner wheelhouse, you cannot weld this brace, okay? This bracket here. You have to have some good structure metal coming all the way down to here to be able to weld. This is the brace, the brand new brace, okay? This is just surface rust. This is nothing. This gets plug weld. This curve right here gets plug weld into the inner wheelhouse. This lip you see going, that curves, it curves because it gets plug weld to that metal. And if there ain't no good metal there, what you gonna plug weld it to? Nothing. Zero. Nada. Okay, so those are the things you have to look. That is a much bigger job than just cutting the floor out and welding the floor. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I wish, but it don't. So before I do anything, I have to make a patch panel going around this wheelhouse here, this inner wheelhouse. Then the trunk drop off is rotted over here, like from over here to over here, which that's about at least, I would say, 8 to 10 inches, okay? I have to make a patch panel here. This side ain't that bad. This side is the corner here, okay? But not me, not this guy, not Louis. I will never put a car together and leave things like that, okay? Because that's not a good job. That's a hack job. And I'm not known to do hack jobs. I either do it the right way or I don't do it at all, period. All right, so this is the floor of the GTO. It's a huge trunk floor, very big trunk floor, okay? And it takes 3 panels like this one. This one's going to go on the driver's side, then this one that goes in the middle, and the other one on the passenger side. All right, so guys, I just wanted to share with you guys the progress of the GTO trunk floor and the things you guys got to look out for when you're doing your project. All right, so whatever I did here, I have to do the same over here, and hopefully next time I will show you guys that I am moving right along on this project. Thank you for your new subscribers. For you guys out there, I'm almost hitting 450 subscribers. So I'm almost right there for hitting the 500 subscribers, which to me is very special to me. I never thought in my imagination that I will be even close to that. That's cool. That's excellent. But the most important thing to me that started me doing YouTube is to inspire you people out there that are not scared to keep your hands dirty and that want to see your cars get restored again and put back on the road again, save money, get some knowledge in your head, and keep you in the garage busy. Once you guys see your project, even these little baby steps moving forward, it's just going to drive you to keep going, and getting it done. All right? I believe anybody is capable of doing this. You just have to be willing to do it. If you're not willing or you're afraid, you lost. You lost the battle right there. Game over. Don't even bother going to the garage because you lost. Mentally, you lost. Finish. But if you go with a positive attitude into the garage and keep saying and repeating to yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it done, it will get done. Believe me, I've been there, done that to a couple of cars already. All right. And I know you guys could do it too. So thank you. I hope my YouTube channel keep growing. That will be excellent. But what will make me more happy more than anything is to hear feedback from you guys that are getting inspired from me putting this content out there. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.